Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open here at Apex Con in sunny Caldwell, Ohio. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
We got 6 rounds down, one more of Swiss to bring you, and then we got the top 8 elimination. Ross, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown on what we're going to be watching in round number 7?
Well, we got a matchup between two of the mainstays here on the Apex series. Ryan Hayes on Jeskai Control against Travis Brown on Bant Hammer. This is Hammer and Nadu merging together.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Brown lost his win-in yesterday that we watched, and Ryan Hayes actually made the top 8 yesterday. So both players, making deep runs Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Ryan Hayes is actually 5-0-1 right now. Started 5-0, took a draw last round, thinking he was safe. But the way the standings have broken and the way his tiebreakers are, he's gotten paired down to Travis Brown at 5-1, and if he loses, he's gonna be on the bubble.
Yeah.
Might make it, might not. Travis Brown, if he loses, he's for sure out at 5-2. But the winner of this match will 100% be locked for the top 8.
Yeah, we have a Nadu mirror on backup. We'll get to that one. They'll be in turns in game number 2, both players having 4,000 insect tokens in play.
So those two Bant Nadu players that are on backup, Oliver Mason and Cameron Lance, and Travis Brown, are the only 3 players playing Nadu who are still live for the top 8. So at most, we'll have 2 Nadu players in the top 8.
And one of them's not really a Nadu player. Hammer just like kills you, but sometimes it Nadus you also.
Yeah, so one of them's a fun Nadu.
Yeah.
And one of them is going to be not
if
fun
Nadu could only work with Sigarda's aid, I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it.
Well, why don't we issue that errata? We'll call the Lorcana people.
Alrighty, well, the players are situated and ready to go in the feature match area, so without further ado, let's head on down for the final round of Swiss. Round number 7. We're watching that back table there on your screen. We're going to be watching Travis Brown on your left on Bant, Nadu Hammer versus Ryan Hayes on your right with Jeskai Control. We've seen Ryan Hayes multiple times this weekend smushing creature decks with his Jeskai deck.
This is an important pseudo mirror. We've got forward attack guy against backward attack guy.
That's fair. All right, turn 1 Springleaf Drum met with Force Negation. Ornithopter is the follow-up for Travis Brown. And it looks like we don't have a second land. Travis was really banking on that Springleaf Drum to do some work with the Ornithopter. Now, Ryan's going to have a lot of breathing room.
Yeah. Heady play from Ryan. You normally don't see Springleaf Drum get countered, but there aren't a lot of targets for Force Negation out of the Hammer deck, especially when Stoneforge Mystic can vial in the various equipment.
All right, top card for Ryan. Gonna keep it. Draws. Looks like a white card. Spell Snare in hand, so has an answer to Stoneforge Mystic off the top. Here is 1 white. 4. A lot of options here for Travis. Really thinking it through. Doesn't really want to run into Spell Snare. Is familiar with Ryan and his lists more than likely.
Yeah.
There's Stoneforge. Meets the Spell Snare. Attack for 0. Got him.
Love it.
I would love if he just had like a 1 white destroy target tap creature card and just immediately punished him. Alright. Third land for Ryan. No play. Passes the turn. Very reactive is his deck.
Yeah. Third land off the top for Travis Brown. That should open up his hand a little bit.
Taps 1 for Giver of Runes. This can protect creatures from those galvanic discharges later on. It's got Summoning Sickness right now. We're going to fetch it with 1 Swept Teeth. Take at least 1, probably 3.
Yeah, probably getting either Hallowed Fountain or Temple Garden here.
Nadu surprisingly difficult to cast in this deck sometimes, thanks to the Inkmoth Nexus, Urza Saga, and Plains.
Yeah, 3 Inkmoths, 4 Sagas, 3 basics in the mana base for Travis Brown. Maybe with Nadu, you cut back on Inkmoths.
How dare? How dare? How about just play your deck as it's supposed to be played and not play Nadu?
Oh, can't do that.
That's true.
Now you're talking crazy.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to delete it. Benchline here for Ryan.
Don't worry, Taryn will bleep that in post.
He's gonna bleep other stuff too. All right, we got Hallowed Fountain. Both of the surveillance already on the battlefield, and we know there's no elegant parlor. We've seen Ryan play today a couple times and a bit yesterday. Made top 8 of our event yesterday, going undefeated in the Swiss. Can he do it back to back? Had to play this round. I think Travis's tiebreakers are a bit weak, but here's the beating Wrath of the Skies.
Yeah, Travis Brown may have hammer in his deck's name, but Wrath of the Skies is the hammer in this matchup. Ryan Hayes dropping it there.
Another Sideboarding. I know he's got a hammer in hand, so
Yeah.
very close to actually killing with Ingmoth this turn as well.
If he had a 4th land, that would have been game.
All right, Prismatic Ending on the Sideboarding. Now, if you're Travis, do you just cast the hammer? No.
It's not going to get a stay equipped to anything anyway, so might as well leave it in your hand in case you draw Pure Steel Paladin. Oh, and there's the land a turn late for Travis.
Yep, I'm gonna go back Ryan's way. I see Subtlety. I also see Flage from the graveyard. Cascade Bluffs
Yes.
making double red.
Flage.
That's how the Karens say it. They say Flage. All right, here we go. 3 damage to face. Big clock. 2 turns of attacking. Gonna get it done. Nadu off the top. No green mana in sight for Travis Brown. Perhaps deck construction error. Perhaps that Springleaf Drum meeting Force Negation was the pivotal moment of the whole game.
He did end up a mana short, but if Brad had the Springleaf Drum and Ryan Hayes had Force Negation, Ryan could just counter the Colossus Hammer or the Sigarda's Aid.
Still a counterspell in hand for Ryan Hayes as well, so this one looks like it might be ready to roll. Shuko is the cast, and
I think there might be a Nadu in Travis's hand, but he doesn't have a green source.
that's a bingo. Chad, every time Ross says the same thing I said less than a minute ago, we're going to call that bingo. Here we go. Attack with Flage. Draws for turn. Saga, still no Nadu, and that's going to be game over. I guess Ingmoth can block for a turn. We have Subtlety. We should play it into turn here so that the 3 damage or Subtlety gets through. With Counterspell, this is just easy game.
There's no real interaction in Brown's Hammer list. You have so many extra spots taken up by the Nadu part of the deck now.
All right, Trash Round packs it in. Ryan Hayes wins an impressive game number 1. Force Negation on early. Springleaf Drum left Travis Brown floundering and made it look easy, did Ryan Hayes. Game number 1 goes to him. As these players reach for their sideboard, Ross, why don't you give me your expert analysis? How is Travis Brown's Bant Nadu Hammer deck supposed to beat Wrath of the Skies?
He's supposed to do it quickly, but was unable to do that with the Springleaf Drum getting Force Negation that game. Checking out the sideboard, Travis has 3 Consign to Memory, 3 Pithing Needle, 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Sun Cleanser, 3 Surge of Salvation, 1 Thassa's Oracle, and 1 Vexing Bauble. Certainly the Sun Cleansers will come in. I imagine the Spell Pierces as well. That can counter a Wrath of the Skies. And maybe the Surge of Salvations too. I wouldn't be surprised if Travis sort of morphs his deck into more of a traditional hammer deck post-sideboard here, rather than try to split himself among 2 plans. It becomes too easy for the control deck to, break up each one by leaving you with half of each plan and not enough for them to really come together.
Yeah, Shuko doesn't look very impressive when it's just sitting there with no Nadu.
Yeah.
All right, on the other side of the table, Ryan Hayes' Jeskai control deck has quite a bit of anti-creatures, but also maybe some disenchants. What's he got over there for him?
Ryan has 2 Celestial Purge, 3 Consign to Memory, 2 Draneth Magistrate, 1 Invert Polarity, 3 Obsidian Charmaw, 2 Soul Guide Lantern, and 2 Supreme Verdict. It's an interesting set of cards for this matchup because things like Consign to Memory could be effective, but can also look a little weak. Supreme Verdict generally good against creature decks, but can be awkward to tap out for in this matchup. We saw Ryan almost die to an Inkmoth Nexus after tapping out for Wrath of the Skies. Right. Verdict only exacerbates that issue. And Obsidian Charmaw is also interesting. There's a lot of lands that produce colorless in this deck and a lot of good targets for it, but it's maybe not something you want to, again, tap out for at sorcery speed. So we'll see how Ryan wants to approach the matchup.
Yeah, it seems like that is the running gag here. Is if you tap out, the hammer deck will probably kill you. And so that is the eternal question for Ryan Hayes. Is this card good enough to tap out for? The One Ring? Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is definitely good enough
Supreme
to tap
Verdict
over.
if they have an Inkmoth Nexus? I don't know. I don't know.
And then looking at the main deck, normally some of the counter spells come out against creature decks, especially Force of Negation, but Force has some applications here. We saw it look good in game 1 against Springleaf Drum. So Ryan might go for a very light sideboard plan.
All right, game number 2 about to be underway. Players are going to draw their openers. Let's see if any mulligans happen. Ross, speaking of errata and Lorcana, I quite like the Lorcana mulligan. It's partial mulligan. You just take any number of cards from your hand that you don't like, and you pitch them, and you draw that many. I don't know, man. I just don't want to keep shuffling the deck a million times. It's just really boring.
Well, with that mulligan rule, you have to shuffle every single time. When you keep 7 in Magic, you don't have to shuffle again at all.
Oh, that's because they should have just said put it on bottom and draw, but everyone is a whiny baby.
So it's like you mulligan to 6 every game in terms of time that it costs you.
Nah. Well, it's modern, so it's basically the same thing.
Nah, I would wager that our average number of mulligans has been fewer than 1.
What if we just say take up to 3 cards, put them on the bottom, and draw 3?
Then you have to put cards on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah, but you play fetch land, so it doesn't matter.
So that is a rule that only works in formats where fetch lands are legal?
I don't know. Don't you already put cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck when you mulligan? Isn't that the rule now?
Oh, true. That is kind of awkward still.
All right, well, looks like both players are content with their hands now. We're going to be underway here for game number 2. Travis Round's going to be on the play. Chat, what do you think? What's your mulligan rule? I don't know what mine would be. I'd have to really think about it. Both players keeping 6. I see a Flage on Ryan's side. That could be pretty good, but the Nadu Hammer deck, not really a traditional aggro deck. Doesn't beat down in small chunks. Usually just gets you dead in 1 or 2 big swings.
A little more like an infect deck.
Just Flood a Strand for Travis Brown, passing a turn. Ryan Hayes, Thundering Falls. Not even going to fetch. Just has the Surveil in on 1.
Well, if he ends this game at 1 life, then...
Temple Garden for Travis Brown. No Lush Portico.
I can't afford EDB tapped lands in the Hammer deck.
He's got 3 planes. My man needs to cut 1. Also, whatever. If I can't play Surveil lands in my deck, I'm probably not playing that deck. Unless it's got Ugin's Labyrinth. That's basically an honorary Surveil land. All right, we got Stoneforge Mystic. Going to go get an equipment. Ryan Hayes, no subtlety for it. Maybe this is the Cauldron Complete. Going to force Ryan to have a quick removal spell or else.
No Calder complete in the list. If he wants to get a threat, he can find a Cryptic Coat.
All right, I do like me some Cryptic Coat cards. Pretty cool. And we're going to go get a Shuko. That signifies to me that we have a Nadu in hand, and we perhaps are going to have a Nadu party coming up pretty quick.
We already have a Nadu party going on in the feature match area. 3 Nadu decks.
That's true. Cycling Lorien Revealed. Likely going to go get... Oh, it's another Meticulous Archive. I thought maybe we'd be getting a land so that we could kill the Stoneforge Mystic, but it looks like the Stoneforge Mystic just gets to untap. Normally when that happens, it's pretty scary, but without Cauldron Complete coming, it's not as scary.
Yeah, getting the Shuko means that Travis is on the Nadu plan and doesn't have enough mana to play Nadu plus Shuko this turn, so Ryan's surmising that he has 1 other turn to putz around and fix his draws, and gets to mill a Force Negation for his troubles.
All right, well, the shields are down right now, so we could just play Nadu, and if it gets targeted to die, well, guess what? We get a free card off of it, so Nadu is the play. Any subtleties from Ryan? No. Stoneforge Mystic gets in for 1. Ryan down to 19. First Blood. Supreme Verdict to pick up. That's going to be a nice one next turn. See if Ryan has any other lands to play, though. Looks like no. We're going to play Tune the Narrative to start to look. Finds a backup Flage, but Hayes in some trouble.
Oof. Importantly, among Ryan Hayes' 2 lands, he doesn't have double white, so can't use a Wrath of the Skies to catch up as he's falling behind.
Well, here we go, Ross. If there's no force negation from Hayes, we're going to see pretty big Shuko turn. Gonna start off paying 2 mana? No. Gonna play around the force negation. We're gonna go equipping. Gets a land. It's an Urza Saga. Gonna go equipping. Get a Giver of Runes. We're gonna go equipping. Windswept Heat. Flooded Strand. Alright, all the creatures in play have currently been cached. We can play Giver for white, and then we can do 2 more. The Inkmoth Nexus is untapped, can currently be activated to attack.
This turn is far from over. Travis has hit several lands, which is exactly what you want early in the Nadu chain.
If you're Travis, you just go ahead and do fetch just to get them out of your deck, or do you like drawing them? He doesn't have the Yavimaya like some of the other decks that play Nadu do. So
yeah, generally you want to leave your deck as full of lands as possible to keep hitting them, but yeah, without the Yavimaya to turn fetch lands into mana producers later in the chain, it may behoove Travis to just get his lands early.
All right, fetching down to 16. It's basic planes. See if he wants to go ahead and shortcut this Windswept Heath and do the same. We're gonna go playing another Stoneforge Mystic. That one resolves. We're gonna go get a hammer. Try to bring a Temple Garden along with it. Alright, so now Shuko can go 2 more times. Stoneforge Mystic. Get a hammer. Stoneforge Mystic. Get a Flooded Strand. All the creatures in play have been activated on the Shuko, so now, if we want to keep going, we can animate either Inkmoth Nexus or cast Giver of Runes. Travis going to go ahead and fetch.
If Travis has a Sigarda's Aid, then he can go for a kill.
One yet.
I think that's the missing piece at this point.
Right.
Rather than go full off with Nadu, these sort of hybrid Nadu decks often just draw a bunch of cards and use that to assemble their other combo.
Right.
Happens with the Nadu Breach deck that Corey's been working on too.
Yeah. A good boy, or a good friend, Corey Baumeister. Springleaf Drum and Windswept Heath. This Nadu card seems pretty fair, man. I don't know. Is it even winning the game this turn?
It's trying to.
Oh, man. It's like Primeval Titan and Amulet of Vigor rolled into one.
Hey, out of basics planes, so this fetch from Travis Brown will have to find a shock land. And if he has a 1-mana creature, he can dig 2 more cards into his library for one of those Sigarda's Aids.
I know he has at least 1 hammer in hand. So
Yeah.
once he finds Sigarda's Aid, it doesn't need to really be attached to the Inkmoth. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Inkmoth.
I think he has a Pure Steel Paladin in hand. And that will do it as well.
Yeah, I think so too. So we can just use both. Yeah, this is Pure Steel Paladin. I don't know why this one. Has he had this one a while? Okay.
Yeah, well, the Shuko should be over on the Paladin at this point.
Force of negation. Wow.
And Travis didn't hit another. Do we have enough mana for that?
Well, we tapped the Inkmoth Nexus to do it.
Okay.
So we can't kill with the Inkmoth Nexus this turn, but we can certainly suit up a Nadu and smash for 13.
Suited up with the Shuko too. Yeah,
14,
there you go.
excuse me.
So, attack you for 5, have a gigantic battlefield and 8 lands and 5 cards in hand.
And even if you play Wrath of the Skies and clear my whole board, I got 7 lands and 7 cards in hand. So
yeah, I think he has backup Pure Steel, 2 Inkmoths, and might not have a backup hammer. We only saw 2, one off the Stoneforge and 1 drawn during the Nadu chain.
All right, well, here we go.
That's a Teferi, and we are off to game 3.
Okie dokie. So, Nadu takes game number 2, but really the story of that game, Ryan Hayes missed third land drop. Didn't really cast much except tune the narrative and that force negation, which was a little too late. Was looking to use that force negation on the Shuko to stop the Nadu chain, but unfortunately for him, Travis Brown really on top of things, used the Stoneforge Mystic to put it in for 2 mana without being able to be countered. As these players shuffle up here for game number 3, the deciding game to see who makes it into the top 8 here at our $5,000 Modern Open. I'd like to take this time to say thank you to our sponsors for this weekend's events. Thanks to Ultimate Guard, the industry leader when it comes to TCG supplies, from the Boulder deck boxes to the Katana sleeves. Make sure to check your local game store for Ultimate Guard products today. Thanks to Wings Etc. Grill and Pub for giving us a fun place to hang out with our buds and family as we watch sports on the TV and have some delicious wings. Thanks to Ghost Energy, keeping us hydrated and energized on these long tournament weekends. And lastly, thanks to SpiceRack.gg, brand new piece of tournament software we've been working with. And we've been really impressed by their work ethic as well as their product over the last few months as we've been partnering with them, and we look forward to working with them in the future. Game 3 coming up, Ross.
And now it'll be Ryan on the play. So really just going to look to make some land drops. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 players today miss their second or third land drop. I think the surveillance are giving people a false sense of confidence. They're like, I'll just see an extra card off my surveil.
I'm on the draw and I got a surveil.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Of course I'm going to hit a land, and they never do.
They see all these Ruby Storm pilots keeping the 1-landers with the surveil land, and they find the land, and then they die on turn 2 or 3. But they don't see the games that I play where I do the same thing and then miss my second land drop and then hit the concede button.
Yep. Maybe it's a skill issue.
Probably should have clicked that mulligan button instead of the concede button.
Yeah, maybe Ryan should click that mulligan button in game 2, but he gets to mulligan that game and play game 3.
Well, my guess is that he had Wrath of the Skies and double-tuned the narrative and was just hoping to draw a land. But failed to do so and got bonked. Hammer does do quite a bit of bonking. Alright, looks like we are about to be underway. Game 3, Hayes on the play. Starts with Aaron Mason passing the turn.
Can we call Travis Brown's deck Call Bonk instead of Call Blade?
Turn number 1 for Travis, Howled Fountain. Director, please. Thank you, Director. Alright. Game 3, Sigarda's Aid for Travis Brown. See if Ryan Hayes has an answer. Says no, lets it resolve. Gonna go fetching. Find Sundering Falls. Gonna peek at the top card. What do we see? Keeps it on top. We're gonna drop.
Looks like Wrath of the Skies.
That's a good one. Travis Brown here. Turn number 2. Ban Hammer. I know he's got 3 Springleaf Drums in his deck. He uses that one, I think, to cast Nadu quite often. One we don't see too much these days.
Yeah, also has a Paradise Mantle, going for the 3-1 split, because Mantle can sometimes be better with Pierce Paladin and is another way to target for Nadu.
Yeah, while Shuko is often the money card for Nadu, this deck uses Sigarda's Aid to just equip stuff for cheaply, but you have other equipment that can equip for cheaply as well. Giver of Runes is the play, as well as Urza Saga. We're going to go back to Hayes. He is going to cycle Lorien Revealed and fetch Meticulous Archive. All right, well, if you're Hayes, I'm just casting Wrath of the Skies for 1. I don't know about you. Because that gets Saga, it gets Sigarda's Aid, and it gets the Giver of Runes.
Yeah, that's pretty appealing. And no blue mana up for a potential Spell Pierce for Travis Brown, so you don't have to worry about that.
All right, Prismatic Ending goes to the graveyard.
Yeah, Ryan reaching very quickly for that powerful sweeper.
3 for 1. There's a Saga in shambles. Feels like the old days of playing Pernicious Deed against Seed of Synod. Max punish for playing your artifact lands. Here's Temple Garden. See if Travis can rebuild. I see a Nadu in hand. Here is Giver of Runes. And another Cigar Aid. So we're trying to get back in it. Let's see if Hayes has any answer for either of these cards. Has Force of Negation. Looks like he is going to pitch that to Supreme Verdict. We're going to exile that Cigar Aid. So going to go back Ryan Hayes' way.
Cigar Aid is just such a scary card to try to play around. Lets Travis Brown really nimbly work around the various removal and counter spells from the control deck. So,
all right, here's Nadu. A scary one to have on a dry board. A single Shuko can really change the texture of the game. But Ryan, missing land drops, did put that Supreme Verdict into the graveyard, but has not found a land in many draws. Nadu comes in for 3.
Ryan's hand is the One Ring, Solitude, Force of Negation, and a card I can't make out. So really just needs a 4th land for the ring, and then he's in business.
Looks like a different color. Oh, hardcast Force Negation on the Shadow Spear. Not when you really want to Force Negation, but when Nadu's in play, you can just keep spending 2 mana and equipping it and getting Nadu triggers.
Yeah, and Ryan knows that he's about to tap out for the ring as soon as he draws a land, so wants to use that Force of Negation while he can.
Here's a Cryptic Coat, a nice pickup for Travis Brown. We're going to make a 2/2 in Disguise. It gets +1/+0 and is unblockable from the Cryptic Coat. And then you can spend a blue and 1 and return it to your hand. We're going to go ahead and play the One Ring.
Yeah, Ryan finds the land on top. That's what he needed.
Yep. Now we're going to go back to Travis Brown. Did anyone boo when the One Ring came out? Dang.
Thank God.
Really? I thought you would appreciate that joke. It's a good bit. Anyway, Cryptic Coat's going to return to hand. We're going to play a land, and we're going to cast the Cryptic Coat again.
Yeah, Travis can't attack, so uses his mana to just make another one of those disguised creatures.
Yeah, while Cryptic Coat is an equipment, it does not have an equipped cost. So you can't move that one around. But what you can do is return to your hand and then recast it. Such a weird one.
Okay, there's a Supreme Verdict Ryan found off of the One Rings. Could just cast that, clear away these creatures.
Yeah, seems like a nice one. Ring active, bunch of cards in hand, checked all the scary stuff. Here's Verdict. Has mana open as well. Next current turn can Flage and attack. Kind of ignore the Cryptic Coat now that the Nadu's gone. There's an Inkmoth Nexus in play, but no Hammer in hand and no Cigar Aid in play. Means who cares? There's Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, but without the Nadu, a Shuko isn't particularly good, and he has no way to equip a hammer.
No, but he can go get Hammer, and then another Cigar Aid means that Inkmoth Nexus could be lethal.
And Hammer plus Inkmoth plus Cryptic Coat would be 3 artifacts for Metalcraft for a Pure Steel Paladin. So Hammer would make Paladin a very good draw as well. Feels like a little bit too late in the face of this One Ring. Ryan's going to have Flage next turn, will likely draw a white card in his top 4, have the ability to evoke a Solitude as well.
Yep, and a Hasty Flage coming in to shrink the clock. It's going to be a 2-turn swing attack.
This might be heartbreaking round 7, 2 days in a row for Travis Brown.
Yeah. What do they say? Stop trying to make fetch happen.
I mean, if I told you you win 71% of your matches, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but if you told me that, I know that you're just trying to trick me into taking 10th place. All right, play Shuko.
The Galvanic Discharge, so cleanly answering the Stoneforge Mystic, and I think it is just about Flage o'clock.
Yeah, so we're going to draw 3. And then we're looking for some pitch interaction so that we can tap out for the Flage.
It's going to be a 12 damage, so Brown would fall to 2. Hayes could go up to 19. Oh, he's playing it cagey.
Oh, yeah. He says, nah. Nah. Feels like he has it locked up. I don't disagree.
Oh, has another ring in hand, can hardcast that Solitude. Maybe just waiting a turn to hardcast Solitude.
Maybe just wanting to prevent infinity blockers. All right, tune the narrative in response to Stoneforge Mystic. And it's going to resolve. Now we're going to go get Hammer. And we still have Inkmoth Nexus, so Cigar to Aid. Could be an out here, depending on if Ryan has an answer.
We know he has the Solitude in hand. I'm pretty sure he has a Teferi as well, so that would be a white card to exile for the evoke cost.
One ring card's pretty good.
It's not bad.
When was the last time you paid 4 mana and drew 10 outside of the ring? Oh, Nadu. Never mind. All right. You know what card's on the ban list? It's Umezawa Jite.
A lot of cards on the modern ban list.
That's true.
All right. Ryan feeding blue into the Cascade Bluffs, making red-white, or red-blue, then feeding that blue into the Mystic Gate for white-white, then using the red from the bluffs to feed into the arena for red-red. Just tapping beautifully.
Yeah. And we're going to swing in for 9 total to face and 3 at the Stoneforge. Travis Brown down to 5 on life support. And I know Hayes has a couple of good cards in hand too, so...
That was a drum off the top, and that is going to do it.
All right, GG's. Travis Brown defeated. Ryan Hayes moves to 6-0-1. 2 undefeated runs here in the 5Ks with Jeskai control both days. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, we'll see if he can, do a little bit better than yesterday, where he was felled rather quickly by Jacob Fumich on Espergorios in the quarterfinals.